City Council meeting to order for Monday, April 18th, 2022. It's 6:35 p.m. All members of the council are present. Mr. Charbonneau is on his way. Others at the table include James Johnson, Clerk Treasurer, and Laura Dogan, our City Manager. The next item, second item, is to approve the minutes of April 4th, 2022, and I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Vashon to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
I will second, but I think we need an addition put into it.
Okay, a motion was made and seconded. Now discussion.
And the discussion, under the front page, under the development funds and Discover Newport. Not that I want to be in the minutes much, but the newspapers picked up the fact that I did tell Mr. Tierney that in the future, I didn't think that city management or the council should be sitting on selection committees if it references our own businesses, because to me that's a conflict of interest, because you're voting one business over another one. And maybe Stacy didn't pick it up, but I think that should be in there. That was my addition and my second, yeah.
Okay. Or you got it written out?
No, to the best.
Okay. So a motion was made and with that change. To approve the minutes with that amendment, basically.
Amended, yeah.
Any discussion on that? Then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Jim, I can sign this page and you can just update, because since it's on an odd page. A different page.
When you're done,
You want back?
kind of, I put it in the folder.
I put a little pen mark where it probably should go, whatever. Okay. All right. Moving on, there are no comments by members of the public. So, oops, let me get this. The next item on the agenda is the truck bid. Tom Bernier, Director of Public Works, he sent the council a memo for a new 2022 pickup. The 2010 Ford F-150 needs to be replaced. The truck has had extensive body work prepared on it previously. The body currently will not pass another state inspection. This truck will be expensed through Public Works, Sewer, and Water budgets. Tom sent out 3 bids, and he listed them here. He sent it to Delabrie Auto Sales, and they came in at $44,571. Hey, and that's for a 2022 GMC Sierra 1500 four-wheel drive crew cab. Hayes Ford came in at $46,108. That's for a 2022 Ford F-150 four-wheel drive super cab. And then Hayes Ford also came in at $50,515. And that's a 2022 Ford F-150 four-wheel drive super cab XLT, so it's a model up. Delabrie's has a 6-year warranty included in that price. Hayes Ford has 84-month, 100,000 mile warranty included in each of their prices. Tom compared the bid packages, and he put the GMC 1500, it's equivalent to the Ford XLT package at a lower price than the XL, and he would like to request that the Public Works purchase the 2022 GMC Sierra 1500 pickup. And the price would be $44,571 from Delabrie Auto Sales. Need want to add anything, Tom? Or I think
No, you said it very well. Thank you.
Okay. Questions from council members on this?
Is it just for general use of Public Works, or is it specific?
I usually get the newer truck and rotate the trucks down. So the second line would go to the mechanic, and my truck would go to Robert, my foreman.
Other questions? Council members?
No.
No?
Did you say that it was going to be used by both Public Works and the Water Department, or paid for by both the Water Department and Public Works?
Public Works, sewer, and water budgets.
And what's the proportion for the Water Department and
Third,
what's
a
the
third, and a
proportion?
third.
What's the, I'm sorry, the three?
Yeah, split it 3 ways.
From-
Those trucks and other pieces of equipment are utilized for Public Works, water, and sewer, so it's, each one's divided up, you know, it's
So
split
the
up.
water sewer, are paid for 2/3.
Correct.
And are they used that way? 2/3 for water and sewer and 1/3 for Public Works?
Roughly, yes.
Other questions? Then, all those in favor, say aye. Oh, we haven't had a motion, I'm sorry. We need a motion. I'm getting ahead of myself. So we need a motion to accept the bid from Delabrie Auto Sales in the amount of $44,571.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we purchase 2022 pickup from Delabrie Auto Sales for $44,571.
Motion made by Mr. Wilson. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Basham. Any discussion on the motion? Then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, are you taking out a loan for the truck, or are you paying cash?
It's been budgeted, Chris.
It's okay, so it's already been, okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead, hold up.
yeah, I'll hold up, so
I apologize, Mr. Mayor.
that's okay. Okay, the next item is the Estates Drive deed transfer. I can let Tom explain the standards, or I could read it here, I guess, or I can, either way, I could read the paragraph that, this has been in the works for, I'll let you go
Well,
over.
it's been in the makings for a number of years, and he bet a 2-year warranty period after he put the final coat of pavement on it. So we're actually past the 2 years, of course, getting correspondence back and forth from the city's lawyers and Doug Spades. But I accepted the road as is, and
It met all the public works standards and specifications
yes, it did.
that we have a copy up here. Just to let the council know, we have the actual warranty deed, the original that will be filed downstairs, that transfers that road basically from Pine Bluff Estates to the city of Newport. And we have the whole deed that's been signed and witnessed and notarized. We have the Vermont property transfer tax return. Of course, there is no transfer taxes that have to be paid. It's just a simple transfer. So we have all the originals, documentation that needs to be filed with the city clerk's office for the recording. Other questions from council members on this? If we would need a motion to basically accept Estates Drive deed. We would need a motion to accept the Estates Drive deed transfer.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Vashon. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded. Discussion? Then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries.
Long time.
Yep, it's been going on for quite a while. So what I'll do is I'll give this to Jim so he can record it. Since it's all the originals that have to be recorded. Okay, the next item is the annual local emergency management plan, LEMP adoption, and we have the fire chief here. We have a brief overview.
Standard submittal, I've gone through it, had 2 or 3 different people look at it, I sent it to Bruce Melindy, the state rep, to go over it, and hopefully we got it all right this time. I'm waiting for Mr. Wilson to tell me I spelled something wrong, but we tried to do it without that.
I didn't see anything.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I checked it very closely. I'll go ahead.
I did find, I just realized, unfortunately, I just realized one thing, I don't think they exist anymore.
Do that.
Newport Promise Community, 63 3rd Street, they don't exist anymore.
Miss, I have one question. On the public information and warning, you've listed a lot of things. What about the marquee in front of Vistas?
Didn't give it a thought.
Just that there wouldn't be a lot of information, but it might, you know, like,
I think they're looking for 3, I think that's what they required, I think that's what we have in there.
That's all, I read this all weekend and I just realized that one was still there, because it clicked in that they don't exist. Yeah. Other than that, that's all I saw on it. Any questions on this? Then we would need a motion to approve the local emergency management plan with that one change.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Motion made by Mr. Charbonneau, is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Wilson, discussion? Then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you. The next item is the zoning administrator appointment and vote. We have to appoint a temporary zoning administrator, and John Harlemer is willing to be once again appointed the temporary zoning administrator. We received a memo from the city manager regarding the request. Are there any questions from anyone?
Did I see that included increasing pay temporary?
Yes.
And a 3 to 4 month recruitment period?
What's that?
In a 3 to 4 month recruitment period?
That's my best guess. That's what a general one lasts. So with fingers crossed, that's the average recruitment period.
Other questions? And then I guess if there aren't any, we need a motion.
I move to temporarily appoint John Hallerman as the zoning administrator.
A motion has been made. Is there, made by Mr. Vashon, is there a second?
Could I get clarification if that includes the $5?
Yes.
Thank you.
Whoever's on the call, we need you to mute your phone. We're getting a lot of feedback. Appreciate it, thank you. Okay, so a motion was made by Mr. Vashon. Who seconded?
I'll second
Mr.
that.
Charbonneau seconded it. Any other questions on this? Then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries.
Who is he replacing?
George Cudd,
I'm sorry, what's the name?
George Cudd,
And could you spell last name?
yep, C-U-D-D.
When did he, Mr. Mayor, when did he leave?
Maybe a couple of weeks.
Couple weeks ago. Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Did you have,
It was a similar question. I was wondering whether the resignation was accepted by the council at an earlier meeting.
actually,
No,
it wasn't,
no, it wasn't. One was never submitted.
one was never submitted. There was no resignation.
Okay. Probably in Colorado.
Don't know,
It's your role as an investigative reporter to find out.
to find out.
So, Mr. Mayor, he just walked off the job, he didn't show up one day, or?
I don't know all the details. All I know is there was no resignation and we have to appoint a temporary ZA.
So what happens if he shows up to work?
I
think those are HR questions.
yeah, that's something that we can't discuss.
Okay. Hey, but I gotta ask.
Yes, I know you can ask, but, okay. So a motion was made and seconded. Any other discussion? Then all those in favor say aye.
But
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries.
Who made the motion?
Mr. Vashon.
Yeah, sure.
Who seconded?
Kevin.
Give it a roll.
Okay, the next item is assigned negotiation member for the police department bargaining.
So it's that time of year again.
And we need to have 2 members of the council. I have chosen not to do it this time around, and we need, I can't remember who the other member was. It
I was last time, I wasn't for the police, I was Public Works, and I said that I would do it, but unfortunately, since a week or 2 ago when that request went out, I've got just work responsibilities that are piling up, so I won't be able to do it.
So that leaves 3 people left on the council.
The negotiations, when will they start? What month?
They're probably gonna start very soon. It's hard to know because we have to go through a bit of a process, but we'd be wise to believe that they would start sometime in May. And they could go on 6 weeks or so. It's a guess. These things are, you do your best to try to anticipate based on what you know.
And they usually happen during
During
the
the
day.
So my schedule's not gonna allow that.
Yeah, I mean, if they could happen after 3, certainly I'd be available.
I'll make sure that they do.
My issue is we're down 1 person at the office, and it really has put a crinkle, and it's gonna be for like 8 weeks. And so there's no way that I can really commit during the daytime.
Who's the other?
We need 1 other person. It kind of leaves you, Mr. Wilson.
It's age discrimination here. I just unretired, went back to work. When are we gonna start?
Probably within a month or so, and again, it's a.
And we're gonna do it roughly at 3:30? All right, I will do it.
Thank you. I would, but unfortunately, my work takes priority.
Provided it fits around some of my other issues, but, okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
So I'd just like to say, just before we move on to number 9 on the agenda, with respect to the council, and to avoid appearing me as being a distraction to the agenda item, I'm going to recuse myself from this discussion.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the grandstand earmark request. We have Mr. Johnson, who is going to make a presentation.
Think we'll pass it down. Okay. So, I'm going to do a presentation on a request for an earmark for the grandstand. Roger's still in Florida, and we felt it would be better if somebody gave this in person, so I'm going to attempt to do it. And if I tend to get reading from this, it's because I did this today, wrote this up today, amongst other things down there, so I don't have it all in my memory bank. So, we'll start by first, our committee wants to apologize for the late notification to everybody, and thank you for eliminating the demolition date to the grandstand. I'm going to start with a little bit of, go back to a little bit of history on the Gardner Park. Gardner Park was originally designed as an athletic complex. In the 1933 plans for Gardner Park were drawn up. They included a football field, tennis courts, a baseball field, and a running track around the football field. The grandstand itself was constructed in 1939 and 1940. And we think the grandstand has a storied past, excuse me. It was a home field for a semi-pro baseball team. I think the name of the baseball team was the Frontiers or something like that. And in the past, there have been several famous Major League ball players play at that park in front of the grandstand. Some of you may recognize some of them. The last one I named you certainly will. Robin Roberts played here. Satchel Paige played here. He's probably the best Negro pitcher that ever existed. And of course, everybody knows who Carlton Fisk was. He also played here on a Legion team. Hundreds of spectators have sat in the grandstand watching Newport High School and Sacred Heart High School play football and baseball games. The field is also home to American Legion baseball, Babe Ruth baseball, and regional tournaments. And Doug ran one of the tournaments back in the 2004 or 5, somewhere in there. The grandstand, I don't know if anybody knows this, the grandstand that we have is one of only 2 or 3 all wooden structures in the state of Vermont. Unfortunately, it's been left to the elements over many years due to lack of maintenance. But we believe the grandstand can and should be revitalized to become an important piece of the Newport's recreational economy. That's what we're all striving for now, a recreational economy. And nothing fits better into that than a grandstand with ball fields. The ball fields over there are used a tremendous amount. So, Grandstand Committee has been continually active for the past year. Last spring, in summer, we raised enough money to buy and raffle off an ATV. If anybody bought tickets for that. We also raised enough money to pay for a structural engineering study, which showed that the grandstand was not in as bad a condition as some people were led to believe. The engineers in that report stated that the structure is in fair condition and appears stable. We are still actively moving forward toward our goal of doing everything we can to help the city restore its historical grandstand. Now, recently, Representative Page called us and urged us to apply for a federal earmark for the grandstand project. We understand the chance of receiving these funds are 50-50 at very best. But we feel the opportunity to apply for an earmark would be foolish to pass up. Everybody knows Derby got over $500,000 in an earmark to create a recreation complex up there. We as a committee see no good reason to pass up this opportunity. Should the city be awarded an earmark, it would basically pay for the restoration of the grandstand, and the committee would continue to fundraise to offset as much of the fundraising gaps as possible, minus any grants applied for by the city, of course, because it's city-owned property. So they have to apply for the grants. Grandstand has been an important part of Newport's history for decades. Consequently, we have a lot of support in the community and have several letters of support that will be sent with the applications if approved, including one signed by 15 Vermont senators and representatives. So tonight, we're requesting the City Council's support to have the city submit an earmark request to both Congressman Welch and Senator Sanders. The deadlines for these applications are April 18th and April 22nd. The committee has completed all the necessary work in preparation for the earmark submission. All that is needed is the council's approval and have the mayor sign and submit them before the deadlines. Historic structures in the city are disappearing. To my knowledge, there are only 2 historic structures left in the city that I can think of. One is the grandstand and one is this building. They're the only 2 city-owned structures left in the city. We're a group of people trying to help the city save one of its own historical structures. This is a chance for the city to try to preserve a part of the city's history, and we urge the council to approve the request. If people are wondering what other structures have disappeared over the years, these aren't city-owned, but the railroad station, Newport House, the county jail just 2 weeks ago. The Baptist church wasn't torn down and moved to Derby. 2 of the old schools, and the one I remember most is Louisa's store on the corner of Science Avenue and East Main Street. For personal reasons. So, before we ask, is there any questions for the council? The committee has put together a written response to the city manager's questions and concerns brought up in her memo sent to the city council, the Grandstand Association, and Roger Carty, dated April 18, 2022. We believe our responses may answer some of the questions you may have, so please take a minute or 2 and review them. Then if there are any questions, let us know, and the committee's here, we'll be glad to do our best to answer them. So, take some of these, pass them down. This is our response to city manager's concerns. Also going to hand out an updated budget report. I believe everybody got this one, but under field upgrade and improvements, the wrong figure was put in there, so we added a new figure. We changed that. Good enough?
Thank you.
Anybody wants one?
Can you read the city manager's concerns, please?
What?
Everybody have a copy?
Do we have an extra copy?
I've got 2.
I'll pass them around. Thank you.
So should have more. So again, just take a minute and go over those. If you've got any other questions, fire away, and we as a committee will do our best to answer. But again, we think what we responded will answer most of the questions. So there you have it. We're just asking the city apply for an earmark to save one of their own buildings. We're just here to help.
And it's not a matching grant.
No, we'll apply for, well, 500,000, I think.
It's an earmark.
It's an earmark.
Basically, they resurrected earmarks in the federal budget a couple of years ago. And Derby got the 517 or 20,000 for their recreational field in this current budget. So Leahy's earmark application passed, and vouchers is due at midnight tonight. You know, it was kind of, Representative Page contacted the committee, and it was like last minute, you know, a lot of work went in to be prepared to submit it tonight, if the council, you know. And so,
Basically, we get almost enough to do the work to do our share. Sorry, that's all I needed. Can go make some more if you want.
oh, careful.
Yes.
We don't want to be picking you up before.
That's right.
I saw you start head that way, it's like,
And she's sober too.
It's not a safety issue.
On camera.
Hold on to it.
Okay, so again, let me just say this is a chance for the city to preserve a part of its own history, which is rapidly disappearing. So. Anybody got any questions, ask it, somebody in the committee will try to answer.
It'd be foolish not to ask. All we could do is say no.
Well, it doesn't cost anything.
That's right.
basically the way it works is you submit the request to, well, Leahy's have already been submitted, because I was in a meeting where they said that closed a month ago. But basically, the congressman can choose out of the entire state 15 projects, so it's a long shot. Same as Sanders, he can choose 15 projects in the state of, I think he's 15 also, can choose 15 projects, and
But if you don't submit it, you're not gonna, you haven't got a chance.
Is the feasibility study still gonna happen?
Huh?
Is the feasibility study still going to happen?
Yeah.
And is this gonna change if that comes out?
Well, Joel's the one that's kind of been.
What I'd like to know is what is the feasibility study for? We're trying to save a historic structure. And why do we need a feasibility study?
My ultimate fear is that if we do rebuild that piece of history and then it goes unused again. it's
Well, why is it
back to-
unused?
no.
I just
That's
wanna-
what I'd like.
Yeah, let's just address to me, you
Hold on.
know, address.
The RFP has already gone out for the feasibility study, and I'm waiting for, I'm getting responses back already. It's just, it's going, close next week.
Right.
It's closing at the end of the month. So the feasibility study is continuing.
It's like Kevin said, it's free money's good. I just don't want the feasibility study if it doesn't go the way that we want to see it done.
Yeah. I could bring up another point.
I'm not saying anything against or for it, I'm just asking questions.
Yeah. Other questions from council members on it?
Just one final thing, where did the estimated project budget come from?
The structural analysis.
And just the fluctuations of things?
Hold on, do I have it again? Well, I can tell you, the one that was corrected, the numbers that you got above were above the 69,000, that number, the 490, or no, 520,000, all that came from the structural analysis, except we added project management into it. That was added into that budget. Based upon talking with people who have managed projects. But if you took out the 40,000, it would be the 491 that Stevens and Associates had put into their structural report. That took in estimates for the current economy, estimates, you know, the one that was presented to the council, whatever the meeting they had presented they had already estimated for supply chain, you know, materials. But it doesn't say it didn't change again, you know, you never know, things can fluctuate. Anything in this world. I know a project recently that went out to bid and it came in, I think, 5 million higher than what they thought. Yeah, and so, you know, but it's just a rough budget.
I agree with Kevin, that I don't see any big deal with just writing a letter supporting this. Because, and to ask your comment on 7 February, I'll read the minutes. President Association Roger Carty gave a presentation on Gardner Park Grandstand. The Grandstand Committee requested the removal of the May 2022 deadline to determine if it was salvageable and to approval to move forward with a feasibility study for the grandstand. We didn't come up with it. This came from the committee.
Okay.
Mr. Charbonneau at that time, and we were thanked, moved to eliminate May of 22 to level or take the grandstand down, and also for the purpose of conducting the feasibility study. No taxpayer funds are to be earmarked for the feasibility study, and I seconded it. So that should answer your question, that Mr. Carty was the one that asked for us to stop the 2022, the May, and go with the feasibility study, of which we've done. I'd heard rumors that we weren't going to do the feasibility study. You weren't, but now I'm being assured you're still going forward with the feasibility study. Is what we approved, and I see no problem with the mayor signing a letter very quickly asking for this earmark. But that when you come out with why are we doing this, because for your committee asked for it.
I wanted an explanation.
Yeah, well, I think I read it to you from February.
Mr. Mayor, I'm just curious, this earmark monies, what's the criteria for it? Is this something that comes out every year, or is this just?
It's, comes out, well, this is only the second year it's come out. And there's a series of questions that have to be answered.
What would the funding source be? I mean, is it recreational, or is it?
It's federal money. It's coming from one of the federal departments. It could be transportation, it could be commerce, it could be historic preservation, but it gets to be a line item, like the Derby project was a line item in the thick federal budget. There was 15 projects chosen. Well, Welch got 15 this year. Leahy and Sanders got, I think Sanders got housing monies. I can't remember what Leahy got. They got monies to restore buildings. Greensboro got money. It's money that they put in the federal budget. For the longest time, your national federal budget didn't allow for earmarks, and then all of a sudden for years they allowed earmarks. If you ever heard the infamous Highway to Nowhere in Alaska, that was one of those. After that, they kind of did away with it. And so what they've done is they've reinstituted it, and it's just a chance of getting something in the federal. It's basically I use the term, it's projects that all 50 senators and 435 reps can, put in for in their district.
So my only question is, whoops.
Mayor, could I make a comment? Scott Bosky behind you on the TV.
Oh, wait 1 minute, Scott. Mr. Wilson had a question.
Yeah, my only question is your letter ready to roll?
Well, it's a series of questions that have to be answered.
And that will be mailed and received by the 22nd?
This gets
Or it's gone?
uploaded electronically.
Okay.
And it shuts down at 11:59 tonight. So it will be submitted electronically.
Well, this other, yeah, okay, 'cause the other one.
That's the document that you received in your packet.
Yeah, but this one has two different dates.
Sanders is due
18
by.
April and 22.
Sanders is due by the 22nd.
So it's
And that has to
22.
be electronically
Okay.
uploaded.
Okay, that answers my
Okay,
question.
but it's these series of questions in a form, and that we provided to the council.
That's okay, but you've still got something you have to sign.
I will submit just something
Okay.
real quick,
All right.
along with the senators and the representatives' letter.
Okay.
Scott, sorry.
I want to thank all of you for taking the time to listen to our presentation, and especially Mr. Wilson for picking up on the feasibility study. We do understand the purpose of the feasibility study. In this case, it's just a matter of a time crunch. We found in looking into feasibility studies, they have to be done over a period of time, and they have to be done carefully. We are very reasonably, I think, assured by the network that we've gotten in touch with through youth coaching and adult leagues players, as well as others in the community, that the feasibility study will show great favorability for the grandstand being brought back to a very usable condition. So thank you very much for pointing that out. We are still interested in the feasibility study, but we don't have time, obviously, since this earmark request application has to be submitted by 11:59 tonight.
Anything?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes?
I just want to point out that, I just want to make it so that it's clear that what we're asking for is the city to apply for this. This isn't a letter of support. So I just want to make that clear, because I think Mr. Wilson was thinking that it was more of a letter of support. I just want to make that clarification to everybody in the room and on the council.
Yeah. City would apply for city property.
I think that's someplace in here it was listed.
Yeah, because we don't have site control. It's a city-owned property.
There's still no cost involved in it.
Is there a time frame
Submit
where?
it, you either get it or you don't.
Is there a time limit where the money has to be used? Or is it just awarded in some year?
There is a time limit in there, Joel, a year.
Yeah, I believe it's in 1 year.
1 year.
So it would need to be used in 2023. And whatever's not used would end up having to go back.
Other questions? Anyone wish to make a motion?
I would make the motion that the city of Newport request
You
the,
need to apply for an earmark. Have the mayor send it in by 11:59 today.
yeah,
Oh, you make the most sense. And you looked at me, I told you.
we submitted a request for the earmark grant that is at 500,000 that is due by
11/59/59.
59 tonight. With the mayor signing it and filing it electronically.
Motion.
Is this also, is this also for the Sanders?
Yeah.
Whoop. Whoever just joined, Dave, can you mute?
Yeah, I can hear me.
Yes, can you mute?
Oh, sorry, yeah, I can do that.
And
Just gonna see his face, I know who it was.
Yeah, for both leads, yeah. You wanna add that to your motion?
Okay, so
Adding to both leads,
Yeah.
Welch and Sanders.
a motion
Right.
for Welch and Sanders, okay, a motion made by Mr. Charbonneau. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Vashon. Discussion on the motion?
I'm really glad that the memo that I wrote will be made part of the record. I appreciate what the committee did to respond to the memo. I just want to make sure that the council's motion to continue with the feasibility study, and I'm happy to hear that the committee is going to do that. The feasibility study is going to provide information about anticipated costs and usage, which is exactly what you wanted. One of the areas that I am concerned about is that other projects have had to go through quite a strenuous bidding project before they got to this point. I recognize that you're looking at this as a great opportunity and a long shot. Just want to make sure the process is fair to everybody who's come before you and will come before you in the future. That this didn't suddenly go through a process that showed favoritism is something to be concerned about. The other thing that I want to say is that I'm more than willing to work with the association. The association has not approached me or invited me to work with them. I want to note that all of the requests that the association has ever made from the city have been granted. We have made an effort to work with the Grandstand Association, and in fact, last year they presented at the Community Summit. I'm optimistic that the Grandstand Association will present at this year's summit, which is June 15th. So I'm pleased that my memo will be part of the record. That's all I have to say.
Well, I think we'll do the summit. Some of us, one of us will do the summit, either Roger and myself, or one of the others. We'll go through the process. I mean, the city's gonna have to do the process because it's their property. But our thought is we'll hire a contractor and somebody to manage the thing, so Tom doesn't have to spend all summer working on the grandstand.
He couldn't do that with our...
I understand that one. You didn't listen to what I said.
I did.
Our
I
intent
heard
is not
you.
to have Tom do it, right? Okay.
And for the record, this is city-owned property. Nothing has been circumvented. You have a group of individuals who want to see history preserved in the city of Newport. And I think it's great that people have come forward, because as Mr. Johnson clearly stated, we're losing our history, not only in this community, but all over the country. And so I think it's wonderful when you get a group of people, because too often people just step back and let things come down without saying anything or doing anything or doing fundraising. And so I think it's great that you've got a group of dedicated people trying to preserve a historical structure. And I know the Section 106 report that I read, the preliminary historical report that was done in 2014 or 15, basically the gist of it was that you should do what you can to save the structure, because it plays a part in Vermont history. And that came from the consultant who wrote that report that I saw, that I actually requested from the consultant because I had never seen it before, but I saw references to it in a grant application by the city, so I emailed the person and got a copy of the report. And basically, she said you should try to, basically the gist is you should try to save it, you know, instead of eliminating history. And so, with that,
I certainly think that the committee wants to work with the city on this project. We're just to bring it to the forefront, do whatever we can to help the city restore that thing. It's not our property. It belongs to the city.
we're just trying to help the city, knowing how busy the city and the employees are. We're just
And as I
trying to
said,
do our part.
Yeah, and as I said in the presentation, I mean, the city's pushing this big recreational economy thing, and to have a grandstand sitting over there with all those ball fields, you know, and nothing's been done to that thing for years and years and years, and it's, you know, got to the point where this has got to happen for the travesty. It should have been maintained right along, and it never has been. And we're hoping we can get this back to shape where it'll again be an important part of the city's economic.
And just to put it out there, a member of our committee contacted the New England Babe Ruth, and they seemed excited that if it was restored, they would bring their New England Regional Tournament back to Newport. And it was here in 2002 and 2004, and those weekends brought in probably a few $100,000 for the community, you know, and that's outside money coming in to the community. So it helps all the local businesses. I look at restoring the grandstand and getting activities there, kind of like what Phil White has done with the winter swim. I mean, we had over 100 swimmers swimming in the lake in January. Every hotel and every restaurant was packed for the entire weekend. So I look at this as a draw to bring in outside monies and tournaments that, you know, softball, Babe Ruth, things like that. And it would be, I look at it as a draw to help the park overall.
And I want people to understand, we're not just looking at it for baseball. There's any number of things that grandstand could be done over there in front of that grandstand where people could sit and watch something. I mean, somewhere we had a whole list of things that could happen over there. It's not just baseball and softball, it's something for everybody.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, can you read, somebody read the motion again, please? I couldn't hear it too good.
Now you lay it on to me. Kevin moves that the city submit a request for an earmark to both Representative Welch and Senator Sanders' office for the grandstand that is due today, and have the mayor sign it to send it.
And how much is the earmark, Mr. Mayor?
Requesting $500,000.
And that's for rehabilitation, that's not for the feasibility study?
No,
No.
we've actually fundraised and got some donations for that.
Are you all set with funding for that then?
We're not sure, it depends on what the RFPs come in at, but we've already started towards it.
Well, how much do you have?
I don't know, I can't say. I don't have it in front of me, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we've got people who are very excited about it in the community. So a motion was made, seconded, and it passed. The next item is new business. Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, I do have some stuff. I got a bunch of liquor licenses here.
What? I thought we went through them all 2 weeks ago.
There's always the ones that come in at the last minute.
We had 13 2 weeks ago.
Well, you want to do that. You got 7 of them here.
That's not bad.
Okay, that's okay.
So, no, you don't have to do this one. I can do that one. So, that's all I've got for this.
Any new ones, Mr. Mayor?
No, they're all
Renewal?
If there are any new ones or new businesses, the chief usually vets them.
pass them by the chief and you say, yeah, yea or nay.
Yeah. Question?
No.
Oh, I'm done.
When's the deadline for these?
The ones that got run out first.
I remember we did one on a Friday.
These are cutting it.
Yeah.
If they get it to me on the last Friday, it's their responsibility to get it done.
Yeah.
Because they have to have it by May 1st, you said, right?
Dina had to drive some down.
Dina had to drive hers one year, right?
Just watching on the camera, Jesus. The diminishes the value of the artifact. Sorry.
Still not coming on.
What's behind that?
Just the one page?
No, I think that's it.
That's it. Thank you.
That's it for me.
That's it? Okay. Any new business, Mr. Evans?
No, sir.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes, I've got a couple of things. First, I'd like to thank the VFW Auxiliary and VFW for yesterday's community-wide Easter meals. They put out 370 meals. And that's the cooks, all these people that are driving everywhere, they should be commended. And the second one is kind of, we should never pick on wrong stuff. The West End Avenue. There's a stop sign that's been down for 3 days now. Stop sign just laying down facing the road. It's been hit by a vehicle, and I would think that is a safety issue. We already had one woman that got T-boned this winter when the vehicle came right through the intersection. So I really would like to make sure that we get it fixed so that we don't have lawsuits coming our way. That's all for new business.
The only new business, I guess, for Tom, the water that's bubbling up at East Main Street, is that a leak on the causeway? Are you gonna hopefully repair it sometime soon?
We're waiting for this week because school's out on vacation. so
Oh, okay, because I know it's a busy intersection, it gets bottlenecked at 3 o'clock. Okay,
It'll probably be closed once we dive into it.
okay, I was just curious, because, okay, perfect. That's all I have. Any new business?
Actually, I just kind of a curious question. I just noticed on the bills that there was one for the, a donation for sponsoring the golf hole for the Orleans County Children's Advocacy. And so I know that we had eliminated the line item for donations and stuff a while ago out of the budget, so I'm just curious as to what line item that's coming out of.
That was out of the police budget, that was for
Police budget.
advertising.
Okay, so it's an
Yeah, that's what I
advertising?
took- That's what I took it out of.
Okay,
Yeah.
good,
This
thanks.
is, for the SIU, for the Child Advocacy Center, it's for that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other new business?
Nope.
New business?
Just a kudos to Public Works for the East Main water, wall rather, falling down and how quickly that was fixed. Also, I'm really liking that new sweeper. Nice and quiet, there's no kick up, it's awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't throw the dust like the old one. When I watched it go by the other night, it was nice to see that it was. And actually, you brought up the wall. How long had that wall been there on East Main? I seem to remember when you installed.
1996 it was installed.
96, okay.
And it's gonna, we'll have to talk about that, I was actually looking to get a retaining wall grant to add to the Eastleigh Causeway project, but I can't get funds this year, so I may have to leave that like that, or I can rebuild it with the blocks, but that means I have to take that whole section down, which would be very time consuming.
Those original blocks, they all come from Canada too, I thought. They weren't, they all were from Canada.
That was built when we did the East Main Street project in '96.
Right. Yeah, okay. Anything else?
What year, Tom?
What's that? 1996.
New business?
No
No
new
new business?
I got one more I missed.
Oh,
I need approval, need a council to approve a special event permit for Eden Ice Cider. It's gonna be on May 7th, from 4 to 6:30. It's one of their tasting events they have periodically. So I do need a motion on that one. Sorry.
I make a motion that we approve the request from Eden Ice for their event.
motion made by Mr. Wilson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Charbonneau. Discussion? And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. So we'll move on. Old business, Mr. Johnson.
I don't have anything.
Mr. Charbonneau? Mr. Wilson?
Yes. For the fire chief, has the new truck been ordered?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, that's a good one. Now the other one. The property on East Main. When I look at what we got from the city manager, that on 4 April, the uncle had hired someone to clean it up.
I spoke with the gentleman who is the co-person with the Sumsick Bank as the caretaker for the property. At that point in time, he told me that he had hired Tom's property maintenance to do it. I spoke with Tom. He had planned on doing it this week. He had hoped to get it last week, and he's been tied up because of weather up at Green Mountain Electric, one of his
Why I bring it up is,
I spoke with him today, and he's planning on being there this week.
because wherever I go,
hear
and not just Newport, people come up and keep asking me about that
They're stopping
area.
at the station and
It's
talking to
in
me.
progress.
I get worried about the high winds we've had that just starts blowing it everywhere.
Well, it's not only that, but people are adding to it, and, but he's contracted someone to do it, so
And then-
my hands are kind of tied.
That's it. And now for the chief, or you're a chief too, but the other chief. When I come back last week and read about the issue with Newport Center and contract problem, has that been taken care of?
It has. I met with them after the fact, which I would have been a little
Yeah.
happier if I had a chance to speak with them before, but yes, I was able to answer their questions that they had
Okay.
in reference to that contract.
That's what I have, because I read the papers,
Yeah.
and when I see stuff and people knocking Newport, it kind of irritates me just a little bit. Thank you.
You as well, sir.
Okay, that's it. I don't have any old business. Any old business?
Nothing.
Laura?
Just the most recent rendition of the municipal plan has been posted on our website. Folks could take a look at it.
I see you, but yes,
Next meeting.
it looks good. It's coming
Yeah.
along
It's
nicely.
beautiful.
No, I'm glad you're posting it. It can kind of follow along with what they've done so far. And I do go and look at it. It's one of the things that's kind of nice to see it. Okay, the next, if there's no other old business, the next city council meeting will be Monday, May 2nd, but it will be following a public hearing on the 5-year capital investment program.